Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You watching Casino is the Name, and there's been a question that I've been wanting to ask you guys. Are people good or bad? Like naturally, like are people naturally good or are people naturally bad? Like, let's say forget the ethics and the laws and everything that's surrounding what happens if you do something wrong, right? Or the trainings and teachings that we receive that tell us right from wrong. What do you think the natural human would do, right or wrong? Personally, I feel like the natural state of people is to do wrong. I think that the average person is probably not a good person if you just left them to their natural ability, right? If there was no judgment, if there was no rules, if there were no ramifications for what you may do, and then if we didn't have proper like ethics in place to set a certain ethical standard, then I don't think that the natural human is a very good person. I just don't think so. I just don't think so. That's just my opinion. And this comes up because I have these different kind of like deeper conversations, and when we were talking to some of my business associates and we were talking about things, this kind of came up, and I was like, they were like, well, people are naturally good people in general. And I was like, you think so? I don't think people are naturally good. I think maybe more the opposite. Maybe people aren't naturally good. And they were like really surprised at my answer, since I'm such a good person to my folk, you know what I'm saying? To like, I'm a good dude, you feel me? Like, I'm a good person. Like, in business, I'm never gonna try and shit nobody. I'm not gonna try and take advantage of nobody. I ain't gonna do none of that. Like, I'm a straight up and down solid when it comes to all of that. But like, they were surprised that somebody like me, who's so positive, would think that other people aren't good naturally. And part of me thinking that is because of the fact that I'm one of the good ones. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we're few and far in between, right? Like, and then that's just referring to business. I don't know if I'm without the ethics put on me and of course the laws being in place and things like that. I don't know if I would be considered a good person without those things in place. I don't know what I would be if those things weren't in place. If you could do and take whatever you want to, when even when like if you could just take money out of the bank, you could just rob them and nothing bad is going to happen to you, then wouldn't people do that? I'm not saying wouldn't everybody do that, but wouldn't there be an increase? Wouldn't there be a higher probability of all sorts of different types of crimes happen? What would humanity be without rules and ethics, ethically, without ethically trained leadership? I'm not gonna say like leadership, but like if somebody hadn't studied ethics and put certain ethics in place, without ethics being placed on us by whatever the leadership is of the country. There are nations that still have very barbaric ethics and rules and the way they police and the way that their court system is set up, or lack of court system and all of that kind of stuff. There's a board out there, there's a group of people out there setting some kind of standard, and we fall into that standard. Without those standards in place, what are we? How do we operate? Are we naturally good people, or do we become predators? Do we become monsters? Do we, do we become aggressors like naturally? And I think that the natural human is probably not a good person. And I mean, even with all the rules and laws in place, people still break these things all the time. So imagine if they definitely wasn't even there. It wouldn't even think twice about doing good or bad. Now, of course, maybe in your household, there may be something socially that we are natural to do right by or do better with our immediate circle. But even then, people still mess over their immediate circle, their family members, their own mom, their brothers. They do all of that, right? And so just wondering, without any of those even ethics in place, without the rules in place, without the laws in place, what do we become? What are we without that? What do you think? I'm curious to know what you think. I may even do a poll on this, but I'm curious to see what you think. Even myself, I don't know what I am if I didn't already have those ethics in the back of my head telling me, hey, this is right and this is wrong. Because I am going to do what's right and wrong from the heart. So it's not even so mental, but I still had that as a guide to help me out from when I was younger, to let me know as a mature man, where my place is, like where I should be ethically. But even then, my ethics are still based off of where I am, like where we are as a nation, because there's something that we did at a period of time that did not feel like it was wrong. Bullying didn't feel like it was wrong in the environment that I grew up in. It didn't feel wrong to pick at people because this is what the culture was. But now you got anti-bullying and this, and you have all of these things that were acceptable at a period of time that are no longer acceptable now. And of course, everybody's ethics changed about it and how we're supposed to feel and operate, And so where we are right now, my ethics are where we are right now, but I might still currently be doing something that is acceptable by our ethics today, but will they be accepted by our ethics 5 years from now, 10 years from now, hell, even tomorrow? There may be things that I may say or do, with there may be maybe somewhere with my son, there's something that is ethically okay right now, but not okay in 10 years. Like just saying, hey, boy, sit down. Me saying that may be like in 10 years, like worse than, they're like, hey, it's better for you to spank them than to yell at them, And so now parents are like, hey, can you please sit down because you're acting up? We don't yell anymore. You might go to jail for yelling at your kid or something. So, but our ethics continue to evolve. And so even right now where I am, in 10 years from now, it may seem barbaric, So, I don't know. But I don't think that without those things in place, whoever the people are coming up with these ideals, without those things in place, what do we become? Anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is a Name. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I do want to know what you think. Is the average human, is the natural state of the human to be good or bad? We out. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. It's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name.